in trying to frame also this interview, I wanted other women of all colours, but also women of colour, to see that there's someone like yourself who's actually found a way to transcend her way into the makeup world. So let's go at that point there. How did you actually get into makeup?
Okay, so I started off working in finance and modelling, and when I was modelling I realised that there wasn't a lot of makeup artists that could do my skin tone, because it's quite in between skin tone. It's like yellow but with like undertones, all kind of stuff. And I became intrigued with how makeup artists could achieve certain looks, the ones that did my makeup well. And even just to go to castings, I wanted to be able to present myself in a certain way and be able to do my makeup what made me feel comfortable. And so, yeah, I began to look for courses, but at the same time, I was working full time, so I knew I couldn't dedicate 5 days a week to do courses like everybody else, like in theatre, SFX, all these other things. And I stumbled across a course called A House of Glam Dolls. And the guy who teaches, he's an industry known person, so I thought that would be quite good to do. And yeah, he recommended me in the end for Britain's Next Top Model and sent me to the casting after a 3-day course. So I didn't feel ready at all, but I kind of just treated it as, okay, even if you don't get it, you kind of can see how you thrive in those sort of situations, because I'm not a very competitive person. And I was fortunate enough, out of the 20 or so girls that were there, to be selected to do makeup for the show. So that's kind of how I got my entrance.
That's amazing. What was your first day like on set? Because you've only come from like 3 days to almost being thrown right into the deep end. So what was that like on set? It must have been a lot of pressure, or how did you internalise that?
Yeah, I was really, really nervous. But the lead makeup artists, they were really, really nice, friendly. It was a good team, contrary to how a lot of people feel that the industry can be. No one was bitchy, and they kind of put a lot of confidence into me. They were like, you know, your makeup's really good. It looks like everybody else's, you know. I felt though, when I looked at the makeup I did, I was like, I don't know. But over the next couple of days, I've realised, you know, this brush works better for that. You know, I realised how to get the look that I wanted to get, and I kept learning every single day, and I got better. And that's pretty much how I built my confidence. I built my craft and creativity through that show.
So how long have you been on the show for?
So I've done the last 2 seasons. So over the last year, I've filmed 2 of their shows.
And has that raised your profile, like, you know, when you're doing your own like freelance gigs? Is that used as a driver that you are a makeup artist on the show, or people just come to you naturally?
I tend not to really say much about it to people, to be honest. I probably should maybe play it up a bit more. If people ask me what I've been working on, like a lot of people do say, how did you get into makeup? Because I was working in finance for so long, and I was modelling and things like that. So I will tell them then. But a lot of the time it's mainly my Instagram, and people will see my makeup and be like, oh, I love how it looks so natural. I love that it looks like you don't have any makeup on, things like that, or your skin. And then that's how people will be like, yeah, I want to book her, or I want to work with you.
As a guy, I know very little about makeup, but I do know that there is a conversation about sometimes the makeup doesn't suit black skin or different tones. Have you experienced that in your job, like trying to get the right, I won't say equipment, but the right product for different skin tones? Is that a challenging part of the job at all? It
definitely is. I was, round about the time when I wanted to start getting into makeup, I've pretty much tried everything. So I started working temping at the same time as working full time. I would go and temp in Harrods and work for Chanel and Lancome. And I've had this conversation with another makeup artist, and she said to me, it's a disadvantage to work for so many different brands, because you never get to really understand the range and become knowledgeable of it. But I think doing that and working for so many different companies, I had to match with different foundations every single day. And it got to the point where I was able to just look at a face, look at a bottle, and I could pick up and go. So now that doesn't intimidate me. So I'm really happy I did that. I can pretty much look at anyone's skin and be able to tell which colour will suit them. But it is an art.